After e4, e6, d4. So the black player is playing the French defense, and in this video we're just gonna cover a couple of lines that I haven't gone through at all in the past, so we can close the French saga forever. Now we play knight c3. Obviously there might be some extra in the future, and now we're gonna go through one Steinitz and one Winawer defense line. By the way, there's gonna be classical music in the background because I'm recording from a cafe. This is the only cafe in London that plays classical music. Bless them. So knight f6, e5, knight d7. This is the Steinitz. We've seen it already in the past. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop e3, fighting for the square in the center, d4. And after a6 and queen d2, bishop e7, we know we have to play bishop d3. Now the novelty is this one. What to do when black plays this structure? c4, attacking the bishop, we have to retreat the bishop. So it looks like we're losing space. However, this is just fine. The square d4 is now ours forever. Bishop e2, castle, and you play a3. This is because b5, b4 is coming. So let's look at this thematic move. f6, challenging the center. What to do? h4. So the center is closed, so you attack on the sides. Take, take. Fine. b5. This is another thematic move that it will always happen. Your goal is to play h5 and then h6, and this is unstoppable. Let's see this move, b4. Okay, fine. Take it, and then bishop takes back, pins our knight. It looks weird. Usually I wouldn't like to allow this, but now white plays h6. And we're gonna take this pawn, open the files, and we're completely winning. If black plays g6 to close the file, castle. Not much to do now. Black will either play this pawn down, and it will have to happen, or develop the bishop to b7, but there's not much really that can be done because the center is so closed. And now this is at the beginning of a beautiful plan. You'll see how the pieces are moved. Knight to g5, putting pressure on this weak pawn. It's the weakness to target. Queen e7, defends it. Bishop g4 finalizes the pressure on that pawn. Okay, fine. Knight to d8, defends it. And now, knight back to f3 so that we can play bishop g5. It's unstoppable. So let's say a5 by black, you play bishop g5, kicks the queen away, and we should be on easy street now. Queen f7 is not possible because after moving the knight, the queen will be trapped, and you're going to be able to not trapped, she can go to e8, but this is much more favorable obviously for white. Queen e8, fine, you take this knight so that we can take this pawn for free, unless black takes with the rook. But then again, knight to g5 finalizes the pressure on that square, and we're gonna make a fork. So if black takes, check, take, take, and now knight to f8 seems to be defending that pawn, but now you just sacrifice the exchange, and whatever way our opponent takes back, let's say with the queen, but either way you can take with check, king has to move, and then a knight check, the king moves, you can take the rook, it's completely winning now. So let's see one more line and then we can close this short video. This is going to be about the Winawer. So bishop b4, okay? So we know we have to play e5, c5, a3, immediately attacking the bishop. Take, take, and now the novelty is knight to e7 straight away. This is one of the most popular moves, and I realized that for some reason I never recorded it. Anyway, let's go on. Usually here you will play queen g4. When black plays queen c7 instead of knight e7, you'll play queen g4 with the idea of going to g7, but in this case it just doesn't work because knight g6, and you're not really attacking anything. So here you play h4. The idea is to play h5 and stop the knight from sitting in h6, in g6. Let's make an example. If black wants to stop that pawn straight away with h5, you play a4. The key here is to develop this bishop on this diagonal. This is the best thing to do. Let's go on. Knight c6. Knight f3, queen c7. These are all moves that will always happen against the Winawer. Bishop e2, bishop to d7, develop, castle, castle. It looks like a completely normal game, but now you play a5 and you're gonna play a6 and smash everything on the queen side. a6 by black is useless. You'll see why in a second. Let's say black plays f6, attacking the center. Okay, bishop a3, targeting this pawn. And the problem with a6 would have been that the square b6 is always controlled, and we can always take it. So that means here, what can be done? So if black takes the pawn in the center, you ignore it. You play a6, and you're going to be taking this pawn with check. So a move like e4 wouldn't really help. Also because this knight is pinned. You will be able to take in c5 with an attack on a7. The rook's on an open file then. It's a disaster. What if b6 to protect that pawn a little bit more? Fine, you take this pawn and you got a triple pawn now. It's terrible, but you managed to open files. That's what's most important. Knight f5 by black, knight g5. threatening a fork, and this cannot be stopped now. If I don't know, rook d to f8, but even rook to e8, because rook f8 runs into the bishop's attack, but even rook e8, the move will be the same here. You will take this one with an attack on the queen, queen takes back, rook b1 attacks the queen will have to move again, let's say queen e5, now you take this rook. But even if and so here in this position when we were threatening a fork, what if rook to e8? Okay, the same thing, you take, queen takes back, rook b1, queen moves away, and now you've got the infiltration on b7, it's completely winning now. Position evaluated +7, if that's not enough. Queen back to d8. How to finalize this? Well, you've got knight f7, but the best move is queen b1, because now you're threatening to sacrifice and then make a checkmate in b7. One last line, and that's gonna be it. So the reason why I'm moving the pieces so slow is because I have a touchpad and not a mouse, and also I cannot draw arrows because the right button doesn't work. Anyway, take, and now knight e7, h4. What if h5 is not played, but rather knight to c6, normal developing? Okay, well, h5. And now two quick options. If black goes on with development, queen c7, you just play h6. So now you know what the plan is. We're threatening to take this pawn and then play rook to h7. It's completely winning, as you can tell. So after g6, logical move, bishop g5. And we have an idea of playing bishop to f6 and then capture the pawn in h7 with the knight. Bishop d7, queen d2, castle, bishop f6, rook moves, knight f3. And this pawn in h7 is on borrowed time, it cannot move. Rook d to e8, rook b1. Now if this rook moves to try knight g8, removing our amazing bishop, then knight to g5, that's it. Beside knight to g8, you might play bishop g7, trapping the rook. And back in this position, instead of queen c7, what if black plays h6, stopping the arrival of our pawn? Okay, queen to g4, targeting the weakness. Okay, king to f8, defend. a4, with the usual threat of bishop a3, it's an amazing diagonal. Bishop d7, rook h3, developing the rook like children. Knight f5, bishop a3, finalizing the pressure on this pawn. We're going to take it. What if b6, defending it? Knight f3. And now two options, and then we're going to close this. If king goes to g8 with the idea of going to h7 and develop the rook, queen to f4, and after take, and rook to c8, putting the rook on an open file, bishop a6, traps the rook. Okay, fine, rook c7, no, because g4 traps the knight. Okay, knight to e7 then, bishop d6, and I told you that the rook was trapped. And so in this position, instead of king g8 plan, what about rook c8, normal developing move? Okay, still, you just play bishop a6, rook c7, and now you take this pawn. You got double attack on it. So the takeaway of this lesson is that this pawn here can even be tripled up just for the development of this fantastic bishop. So take. You had to take, otherwise pawn takes in b6 with an attack on the rook and discover check on the king is game over. King to g8, and now the bishop just goes back to a3. We're completely winning. A move like f6, you can play bishop d6, and this bishop cannot be taken. If knight takes, pawn takes and the rook is trapped. If instead of that move, black plays knight to b8, giving some freedom to the rook, play bishop to d3, and now rook c4, rook c3 just doesn't do anything because queen b4 threatens the rook. The rook has to move back, but now g4, and the knight is trapped.